Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble podcast. I'm Martin, and joining me today we have Brian. Brian, how are you?
Very well, just about recovered from COVID, so out of
Ah,
isolation tomorrow, hopefully.
did it affect you badly, or were you alright?
Sneezing and runny nose.
Ah, man flu.
Man flu, an enhanced man flu.
Also joined by Graham. Graham, how are you?
I'm not bad, mate. Yourself?
Um, do you know, I was in two minds whether to do this or not because
I've got no nails.
I'm really not sure what there is to talk about. To be honest, that was one of the most insanely mind-numbing, boring games of football that I've watched in a long time. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was a huge Rangers supporter, I would have switched that over. There was absolutely nothing in that game at all. Hello, everybody watching as well in the comments. Please do get them in. And also, and I never ever say this, right? You can download all these shows as well. So see like one day if you're out and about and you miss a reaction, see about an hour later, they're on Acast, iTunes, Spotify, and all that. So check them out there as well. And of course, you can join as a member. Join button below if you want to help support the podcast as well. Right, Brian, Rangers won, Aberdeen nil. Came on Roofe with the goal. Talk me through the game, Brian. All the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, and all the excitement.
Um, the goal that was about it. It was just dreadful, just so lacking in zip, lacking. As Graham said before we started, it's as though they're terrified to do anything to make a mistake. It's just mind numbing. If we just let the shackles off a wee bit, it would be fine. But they're just so structured and there's no fluidity and there's no rhythm. I mean, Aribo's not the player he was at the start of the season. Creating stuff, scoring things from the edge of the box. It's just terrible, really bad.
I mean, Graham, RFC 56. I mean, I think he's been quite generous here, but we got away with that. 1-0 was not good enough. We certainly got away with it, and it was more than not good enough.
It was one of the games, definitely got away with it. It's one of the games we didn't deserve to win. Like, probably our draw was a fair result, but thank God we got the winner. As Brian says, it reminds me of that Dutch style that Van Gaal used to, apart from his Ajax team in '95. It's just all structured. Players should be in a certain position at a certain time when the ball's in a certain area. There's no creativity or allowing the players to be brave on the ball or make a brave run off the ball. The players just look scared in that first half. We never had a shot on target either until Ryan Jack shot for the edge of the box, I think it was. It's
65 minutes.
Major improvements needed in the play. Also, we're continuing to get the points now, and we're still in our own hands. But performance-wise, it's dreadful. It's actually dreadful.
Performance-wise, dreadful, Brian. We've said this before. Look, there's only 9 games to go. Can we just chalk that down to one of those days, or was this different? Was there something different in the style of play that said to you that wasn't just another game? That was dreadfully poor.
That was exceptionally dreadfully poor. I mean, that's worse than games previous. At least we were creating chances in games past, whereas today, excuse me, we were just nowhere near the races, just lacking any sort of decent deliveries from wide. And even when crosses did come in, it was hitting first man or getting over, right over the top of everybody. It was just, I mean, wow, just really, that was an eye opener today. It really was.
Very, very quickly, because and I say, and you know, I feel like I say this. I feel like it's just the same show every single week because we seem to be going through all the same points. But look, CGM, look, another shocking referee today. Pass back rule, maybe. Graham, we say it every week. The refs were so poor. I think I tweeted during the first half. Look, John Beaton, I hope he pays for a ticket because all he was a spectator. He wasn't given anything for Rangers or Aberdeen at all. He was given absolutely nothing. But David Bates passes the ball back to Lewis. He's under pressure, and Lewis just jumps on top of the ball. Nothing given.
I agree with the comment there as well. I was kept going through. So Rangers, please score and get this point so we can actually mention the referee. because there's nothing worse when you drop points and then it's if you're blaming the referee for the performance. But there was a clear. When I saw the replay, I was like, is it a tackle? Because if it's a tackle, then it's not a pass back.
Yeah.
But to me, it looked more like a try to get a nudge back to the keeper so he could kick it away. So if that's the case, then it is a pass back. But what annoys me about games lately, I've seen how many people are holding their players.
Yeah,
but in play, it's honestly, you watch the best of the rest, man. But you deserve a medal because see Scottish football, it is tin pot, and it's honestly, I could not watch a Scottish game outside us. Honest to God, it drives me nuts how anti-football it is. It's terrible. But,
well, they were time wasting, Brian, from minute one. But look, I've said before on here, look, that's up to us. We need to find a way to combat that. But time wasting from minute one. I mean, if you're going to hold up an advertising sign that says our club is tin pot, that's pretty much it.
But as I said to you, I think I said on previous shows, this is all Aberdeen care about this fixture. It's all they give. Four fixtures a year. And it's their cup finals, 4 cup finals. I mean, at times today I actually thought we were watching rugby because, I mean, some of this holding the shirts, blatantly obvious. And I think there was only one card given for like a shirt tug or something like that. I mean, I think Kamara got held well in the middle of the pitch, and the referee just shrugged it away and carried on. Bizarre, very bizarre.
Unfortunately, Graham, there's nothing we can do about it. We talk about it every week. We talk about wanting referees' performances to be higher, to be better. VAR's not going to intercept little things like that. VAR's only for obviously major incidents. So is it a case of let's stop talking about it, stop moaning about it, and just accept it?
Yeah.
I personally think the club need to start coming out and see when it's really bad. We need to start putting a marker down and let everybody know we're saying it's bad, because when we're too good. It does man not. See, like some of the dark arts in the football, we don't do it either. I can mind it was a couple of pods ago we were saying about Lundstrom with a tackle. I think it was the Dortmund game. It was a bouting tackle, a professional foul. We don't do enough of that. We try to be too nice in that. We need no team, in my opinion, wins a league without being a nasty streak in them. And we need to start living up to it as well and getting in about it. It's the only way it's going to stop if we start doing it as well. It does my not in how bad the officiating is. And I put up a tweet, a post, I think, saying it's not just like our games, like that the Motherwell player the other week. I only seen that because it went viral on Twitter. Gets sent off for a dreadful decision. It's our games, it's never going to fix itself. It's terrible.
Paul's saying, apparently if you challenge for the ball, it's not a pass back. But where was he putting the ball? I know, it's ridiculous. John Beaton. And I don't like to come on, Brian, and I hate coming on and going, this ref's terrible, that ref's terrible, that was such a poor performance. Because see, at the end of the day, look, I know a lot of people disagree with me. I don't think they're biased. I just think they're poor. But at the end of the day, they are human beings as well, who when all said and done, they want to do the best that they can. But it's just honking. It's just shocking. It's terrible. It's pathetic. And unless it does change, Scottish football is just going to continue to be a laughing stock.
Yeah, well, I think I've seen somewhere, I think we're the only country in the top 15 in Europe that doesn't have VAR, and that includes Cyprus and some other backwater
Albania is one of the countries that's got VAR, I believe.
Aye, so how can these countries have VAR and we don't? It's bizarre. But as you say, I don't think they're biased. I just think they're crap. There's a difference between bias and being crap. I just think they're just very poor. Very poor.
Very, very poor. Right, let's talk about the game a wee bit then, if we shall, because I've got about 4 notes to go through this game, if we shall. First of all, Brian, that top you're wearing, was that not the top we were supposed to be wearing today?
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, it was billed that we were going to wear that top today, and then the highlight, when I started watching the RTV coverage, it said, well, I seen that they were wearing it in the warm-up, and then we came out in blue tops, so I don't quite, unless I missed something in the translation or another message somewhere, I was under the belief we were wearing this top, but I must have missed the message.
there is a lot of, as Neil McCann says, Graham, superstitious people in football, managers, players alike. So maybe it was a good omen that we wore the top you're wearing instead of the white one.
I was thinking that myself before the game. I was saying to my dad, I was saying, obviously last season against St Mirren we wore a new top for one. We get beat. Malmo, the purple strip we wear, stuff like that. And I'm not really superstitious, but I was saying, just please if we're wearing it one. But I was trying to think of reasons. See, because there was the white bit in the stand. I was trying to think maybe if a player was running next to that, then you might not be able to see him if he was all in white. But I
Well,
don't know.
CGM has just answered your question because, of course, CGM is the man who knows all. You can only have 3 strips a season, and we've
He's the
obviously had the
oracle.
blue, the black, and the purple. So
He
maybe
is the
that
oracle,
answers the
isn't he?
I
question.
thought they asked for permission though. I think that's what I read when the strip came out. I thought that's the whole idea of the strip came out because we asked permission to wear it on that day. But again, we must have missed something or just a last minute change. I don't know.
Or it was a ploy to get us all to buy the top.
Well, that's probably
Although James Cameron Bryan has made the ultimate point. You wear the shirt Jimmy Bell tells you to wear.
If he puts out the blue top on the peg, then you wear the blue top. It's as simple as that. Yeah. You do not cross Jimmy Bell under any circumstance.
No, absolutely not. Right, Brian, the starting lineup was, I think at the time, and obviously we always say hindsight's 2020, but Lundstrom put on the bench. Obviously Ramsey was on the bench. Arfield dropped as well, and we started with Barisic and Bassey at left centre back.
Mm-hmm.
I must admit, when I seen the back four, and nothing against Barisic, but he's no in great form. Bassey's shown that there's a mistake in there at centre back, even though he's been relatively solid.
Yeah.
But that starting lineup did worry me a little.
It's certainly, well, of all the people you thought he would drop, you wouldn't have thought it was Lundstrom, because he's actually been one of our better midfielders recently. So I was kind of surprised at that one, because I thought with Jack coming back, I thought, well, him and Jack just feed off each other. They'll control the midfield and they'll do what they do. As you say, Bassey going back at the centre half was a bit worrying, as you say. Although he's solid, there is a mistake there. And then, as you say, Barisic is just confidence is rock bottom. So yeah, I was a wee bit surprised. Of course, Hollander and Balogun both made the bench, so they were both fit. But yeah, it was a bit of a surprise.
It was quite surprising, Graham. And look, I actually think Borna done okay today. But I think, again, it just shows you the levels that Bassey's come up, that as soon as he made that change and Bassey went to left back, we looked a far, far more aggressive and better team.
Barisic was okay today. Like, when the ball was in our half and it was kind of just in possession. But with the amount of times Kent got the ball out wide and he's got 2 free round about him, and he doesn't make a move to try and take one of them away from him and give him space. And that's where Bassey is coming into his own this year. He's actually driving by him. Now, his delivery to Barisic's last season's delivery is probably not anywhere near that, but he's trying to create space for Kent, and also overloads and stuff like that's going to help us. But like you say, I was a wee bit disappointed to see Balogun not playing, so it could have Bassett left back at the beginning, and it gives obviously Balogun minutes going towards Thursday coming as well.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have the preview before Thursday, but I can't see him starting with Barisic and Bassey, Goldson and Tav. I can't see that being a back four on Thursday. Curry Muncher, good to see Ramsey on the bench and get minutes. No wait. Graham, what's happening with this Ramsey thing? Is it just a case of, was it just a really good PR stunt at the time by Rangers bringing him in, or has he just been that unfortunate that he's got a slight knock and basically I don't think we'll see him?
I think it's going to be basically that, mate. I think hopefully his contribution is still to come and it's going to be a good one for us at the end of the season, but his whole career is just basically, he always seems to be fit for Wales and World Cups and Euros, when Wales, he was definitely fit, played all the games, I'm pretty sure. So it's club for him, it just seems to be picking up niggly injuries. But like us all, we were all delighted when he signed and we were excited to see what he could bring, but if he's not going to play much minutes and contribute, then it's going to be one of the ones that's a failure. And Ross Wilson it's not, as much as I like Ross Wilson, I think he's good for us. It's adding to our list to people are not going to affect the first team.
I know.
I'm not quite sure that game was suited for Ramsey, though, was it?
I
mean,
don't
they were just, well, anything above the ground was getting taken, wasn't it?
I'd have liked to have seen him come on. I think he would have come on if there's Martin away there. I think see if it was still 0-0 with going into the last. I think he would have been put on just to try and get players into the box and stuff like that. And he's quite good at finding space, and obviously he can finish as well. But I think hopefully that's his injuries behind him, and we can maybe see him getting minutes. Thursday going well if it's in the last half an hour if it's going well, and then build for there. But we said that against Dan, and we were hoping that was the start of the build of getting minutes and maybe getting a few starts. So just fingers crossed. Hopefully it will be celebrating to the end and he can join in it. But he needs to get fit also.
Yeah.
Can I just say for everybody, I next month have got a new internet provider providing my internet, because for the last 2 months it has been nothing short of shambolic. It's absolutely doing my head in. Good friend of the show, Brian, Denzel Merrick, who sent me through all his books. So I've got all them to read, and then I might do a wee giveaway for our friends on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears on the button. Is it on the button? Is it on? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm just trying to be fancy and I fucked it up. Denzel puts in, thought bringing Balogun on steadied the defence, but pleasantly surprised by Barisic today, much improved. And you've seen that, Brian. Balogun makes such a difference.
Yeah, he does. He's a proper centre half at the end of the day. He does exactly what he says in the tin. He gets the ball, wins it, and either if he has to clear it, he clears it. But he's quite confident in going forward with the ball and, you know, giving it to the midfield or the wingers. You know, his distribution is not terrible. But yeah, Barisic wasn't awful today. As Graham said, there's at least two guys around Kent all the time just now, so it's very difficult for Barisic and him to strike up the old partnership purely because Kent's got no room. So of course, there's only one way for Barisic to go, and that's either back or sideways. So it's I kind of feel sorry for Barisic in a way. I really do.
The first half, Graham, I was going to go through a couple of things that happened, but you know what? There's not really that much point in going through 2 or 3 things. That was probably the most subdued first half performance I've seen for Rangers in a long time. I've seen us play bad, right? And I've seen us go in 0-0 at half time, even 1-0 down, but actually try. That first half, to me anyway, and maybe I'm overreacting, but that first half to me looked as if that was a training game for a game that we were playing later on.
For the first minute, it was just sideways, back again, back to McGregor. And even at free kicks, the first thought was hitting it back the way instead of forward, some of them, especially the ones out wide. And you're just thinking, it's hard to pick a reason why it is because you go for a performance against Dortmund over 2 legs where we were brilliant, and then that, you don't know if we're getting dragged down at that level, or is it just the determination of the players? They're not up for it, but they should have been coming out. I don't know why to say this, but I'm going to say it. See, when the players came out the tunnel, none of them really looked like, oh, look at this massive display. Or it was heads down, just kind of walking out. And you're like, are you ready for this? Even though it's like against Aberdeen and stuff like that, you should know. I didn't really want to say that, but obviously I have now. So. But it's subdued. Everything about the club is subdued.
I think what Chris is saying was what I was alluding to earlier. His comment before about, you know, there's 2 men on Kent, so that leaves space for somebody else to run into. But nobody's taken it upon themselves to do that. You know, they're just sort of sitting in their positions and waiting for the ball to come to them, rather than them make something and make a run and, you know, force Aberdeen to do something, or any other team for that example. It's almost as though they're just waiting on the sort of flair guys to do something instead of taking responsibility and doing it themselves.
The amount of times as well, Aribo, he passes the ball and he doesn't follow it up, he just stops. Yeah. I noticed that easily 5 to 10 times today. It's hard to watch.
Well, I've heard people say that Aribo's unsettled, he's not happy. I can tell you for a fact that's not true. I think it's just lack of form. I think it's just purely lack of form with Aribo. I know for a fact that he loves playing for Rangers and he loves Glasgow. So look, Michael's saying like the first half it was awful. CGM, I have COVID and I have more energy than the Rangers team in the first half. CGM, hope everything's going all right, buddy, and I hope it's just the sniffles like Brian. But Brian, I honestly my brain can't compute that. It's not as if Aberdeen were heavy pressing us, making it difficult for us to move or anything like that. Aberdeen are 10th. I don't even know if they're lower now, but they're 10th in the league, right? They're awful. They're terrible. They're an embarrassment to Scotland. I just like to get that in there, right? But in all seriousness, they're poor. They're a very, very poor team.
Yeah, I mean,
and we had options. We had ways we could have went, and it was as if they just couldn't be bought.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've said in previous pods, at the very least, you match the other team's effort, and if that happens, the skill and the higher class will come through. But as you said, the first half it was very pedestrian, very sort of just side here, side there, not really, not much energy to it, and that's half the battle. If you go against another team and you at least match their effort and their desire, then the skill and the class will come through. But unfortunately, that first half, it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Aberdeen were there for one thing, and it was the low block and defend. They weren't really interested in scoring today. Let's be honest. They had the odd break here and there, but they weren't there for scoring. They were there to frustrate and get a 0-0. Simple as that.
But Brian, sorry, just to take it back to your point about if you show enough desire and enough determination as the other team, we didn't have to show even half of the desire that Aberdeen showed today because they were that poor. It was just the simple fact that we were so slow and lethargic.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. But as I say, if we play at a tempo that we normally can and do, they can't live with us. But unfortunately, the tempo wasn't there. There wasn't the bite. There wasn't the sharpness. There was, it was very, as you say, it was very flat.
It was so flat. I mean, maybe Graham in the first half, I think there was good play between Morelos and Kamara. Kamara, who Linda Ross says, look, 3 points today, guys. Don't get why Kamara was man of the match. Probably one of the better players in the park for us, to be honest. So I can understand why he got it. And we nearly got an own goal. And then there was the one occasion in the first half, a long ball for Aberdeen. Goldson completely misjudges it.
Yeah.
That's somebody who we should maybe have a wee chat about, by the way. Completely misjudges it. The boys through and goal, and Bassey gets us out of trouble.
Mm-hmm. That's why Bassey's good playing centre back, because he's got that recovery pace along with Balogun. But they're the only two we've got that's got the recovery pace. But it's simple stuff like that. This is how many times we've been saying that, even under Gerrard. And go back to when Van Bronckhorst came in. Remember, he used to have Kamara sitting, which it was like goal kicks or free kicks for opposition in their half. Kamara would sit in and make it like a free. So they were in the kind of ball over the top. We were kind of working against that then for us, but that stopped as well. So it's just we're having too many stop-start moments with performances or individual forums and stuff like that. For Van Bronckhorst come in, it was good getting the 1-0s away at Hibs and stuff like that, and then the two games against Hibs and Hearts at Ibrox were good, and Europe's obviously been good. But some of the performances and tactics and team selections, that's what we're constantly talking about every preview and every reaction into it. It's getting tiring now, isn't it?
Well, channel member Ian Ross, Brian, is asking, do you think this is down to Gio's tactics?
I think it is in some sort of way, because they're terrified to make a move. They're terrified to come out of the shape, as Graham says. They seem like they're just stuck in a certain position, and there's no fluidity. There's no way to go and express them. Aribo has been poor since he's came back since the African Cup of Nations. No, they're just very, as Graham says, they're very rigid. They're scared to make a move out of their positions. There's nobody taking a risk, a risky pass or a risky run. It's just very stale and one-dimensional.
Fantastic point here, by the way, by channel member Michael. I think my stream mate cut it there. I'm back. Fatigue, nerves, indecision, all setting in. It's a title race. Rangers embrace it.
Yeah.
Excellent point, Graham. And it just seems to me right now as if this Rangers team aren't.
I totally agree with that point there. It's the fans are up for it. We understand, especially the older ones like us, through the 90s, like, and then helicopter Sundays and stuff. Everything goes to the wire, but the players need to realise that now because they can't drop any more points. Definitely not, and they need to realise. But again, going back to the point there, that's fatigue and stuff like that. The amount of times we've, in the last 30 minutes or even at half time, we could change it up a wee bit just to get players a wee bit of rest and stuff like that, and we don't do it. And then it contributes to performances like that where you see Arfield coming on, and ideally, if we had that out the window, you don't put him on and he gets a full weekend's rest. So the players need to understand that to get rest, they need to put performances in so we can do it and find form. So it's works both ways between the manager, the tactics, and the players. They need to definitely help all each other out so they can get players rested, get players minutes when who are coming back from injury and stuff like that. So it's going to be hard, but they need to realise that it will go to the end if we keep fighting. It will go to the end, and we can do it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If there's another 8-1 nils, I'll not complain.
I'll be delighted. But
yeah, but take a serious risk with that. You know. I mean.
I know.
I don't know. I'm not one of these people who likes a 1-0. So they spell it absolutely straight. Brian, second half a little better. I don't want to say we were excellent in the second half, but we done what was required.
It was. I don't think it could have been any worse than the first. So anything in the second half had to be an improvement. But I mean. Yeah, there was I think it was Gordon Smith that was doing the co-commentary. He said there was a bit more zip in the second half and there was a bit more urgency. But I think it wasn't until the subs came with Balogun and Bassi that you could noticeably see the noticeably see the difference. Up to then, there was marginal sort of bits of pace here, crosses in there, but nothing great. It was better, but not much better, and then it wasn't until the subs came on that you could see the big difference.
Should we have had a penalty, Graham? Gallagher diving handball, but was it too close to him? Was his arm out of the normal shape of his body? I don't know what the rule is anymore, but I must admit, it looked a penalty for me.
Is that the one for Kent shot, or is that
Arfield's?
Arfield, sorry. It's one of the ones that I don't want to sound like my tin hat on, but we're not going to get that under the scrutiny that John Beaton gets. We're not going to get that unless it's definite. But
could you imagine we got it though?
But in my opinion, it was a handball. I just want to pick up. I forgot who it was that said it there. They were saying like champions win the champions performances get the points and stuff like that. But that's all right in saying when it's 1 in every 10 performances. But the performances is too much like that now. So
we've drawn the last 4 away games.
Exactly.
We've drawn 3, lost 1 in the last 4 away games. So people putting in the comments, what you moaning about, what you complaining about, it's a 1-0, you would take that until the end of the season. I don't trust this Rangers team to take 1-0 till the end of the season. And there's no evidence to prove that they're going to do it. So people in the comments are going, stop complaining, you won 1-0. We won 1-0 against an extremely poor team who, when they were trying their absolute best, didn't trouble us, and we still had to sneak a goal to win it. See if that doesn't open your eyes, Brian. I don't know what will.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% on there. I mean, as you say, the last 3 or 4 away performances, surely that's got to alarm people in itself. I mean, trying to hold on to a lead for us just now is bad enough. I mean, even that last 4 or 5 minutes, I was thinking myself, they just need one hoof up the park, and then there's a boy onto it, and you were still thinking like that because it's happened so many times recently. So us holding on to a 1-goal lead, the most dangerous thing in the world just now, just about, apart from other things.
Graham Ross. Sorry, Graham, 2 minutes. Graham Ross. Stevie G won 10 home games, 1-0 last season. Dry your eyes. What was the score in the last home game? Before this one? Against
in the last home game?
Yeah, what was the score?
4-0, wasn't it?
No, the last home game we played against Motherwell.
Oh, 2 each.
Oh, 2 each, sorry, yeah.
There you go. So we've got 9 games left. We've just struggled to beat an Aberdeen team, and people in the comments seriously think that we're going to win the next 9 games in the league if we don't improve our performance, and they think that today's okay. I'm
when he
sorry,
says
guys. I know I'm usually Mr. Calm, cool and collected, and I don't give my view that often, but I'm sorry. You have to look at that performance today and go, if we take that performance into the next 9 games, sorry, we've no chance. If somehow we look at that and improve and go, look, this is what we have to do, but we have to do it from the next game. Of course, this team's capable of doing it, but that today was dross, Graham.
Yeah.
The point that he's making about 10 games 1-0 as well, it's under last season, how many times was the 1-0s? We were camped in their half. They weren't getting out at all. It was 80% possession. We were having all the chances and stuff like that. It was comfortable. There wasn't, apart from the Motherwell game and maybe Kilmarnock with the Jack Screamer, there wasn't much that we were worried about. That's fine when you can do that, but we can't control games in the middle of the park to go and win, like you said, to win 1-0 for the rest of the season. So I totally don't agree with that. And the performances don't give belief for the fans to get behind. Well, obviously we're going to get behind, but it's just.
No, nobody's pushed in my cornflakes, Curry. I'm just genuinely worried now. But, you know, the 2-2 against Motherwell in this game today, even though we won it, has got me genuinely worried properly for the first time. I'm just venting my frustration. That's all I'm doing. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. And see if we win the next 9 games 1-0 and we win the league. Every single person in the comments can come on and go, Martin, you're sacked, get to buggery. I'm 100% happy with that. But right now, I'm just worried, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Graham says, last season we were dominating games, and like the defence was the best it's ever been. And this season, it's the I wouldn't say it's exact opposite. The defence are leaky, they're nervous. You're just not sure whether they're going to keep the 0, as folks keep saying.
We haven't the last 2 games, which is a positive. I want to get a positive in there somewhere, Brian.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, yeah. I just wish they would give themselves a bit more belief and a bit more attacking intent, is what I'm trying to say.
KBM, Graham's asking, whose fault is it then, Martin? It has to be GVB. His choices defy belief. Is that fair, Graham?
He's got to take some of the blame for the performances, but I think the players, I think it's not just totally 100% one person's fault. In my opinion, it's the tactics, team selection, fatigue. It's everything basically in it. So, but if you the performance against Borussia Dortmund, we can't kid ourselves, and that's going to have taken a hell of a lot out of the players.
Yeah. So
if we want to give them some sort of leeway, then I think that's what it is. And they gave us some night at Ibrox and stuff, and arguably our best away win in Europe. So there's a wee bit of positivity and credit for them. But the league's your bread and butter. So, and that gets us the Champions League and all the money that they need and stuff like that. So they need to keep fighting and just get together, keep fighting, and try and get this done.
I've just lost the comment there. It was a great comment. I don't know where it's went. Where is it? There it's there. Look, this is true, but actually, Brian, something that may be lost in the emotions at the moment is this isn't really Gio's team. Gerrard had seasons to build his own squad. The only thing I would say to that is that Gerrard built a winning squad. Gerrard built a team that done really well last season and won the league. So the drop off, I think it's more about that we were 6 points clear when Gio took over, and there's been like an 11-point swing.
Yeah.
So I think absolutely these aren't Gio's players, but these players are definitely good enough to be playing better than what they are.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I still think there's one or two of them miffed that he's left. But you've got to start, well, certainly by New Year, you've got to start thinking, well, that's gone now. You've got a job to do. You've got a contract with a club. Players fans love you. So you've got to. There's got to be a point where they've got to park that and say, right, well, the old manager's gone, the new one's here. We've got to try for the new manager. So, but I do take the point that it's not his team at this point. I do take that.
Graham Ross, sorry. Everyone gave Stevie G 3 years to win one trophy. Different scenario now, Graham. It's different now that we're back and we've won the league. I'm sorry, that's nonsense. And Graham does normally talk sense, but he disagreed with me today. So everything that he puts in the comments, I'm going to call absolute nonsense. I hate it when people disagree with me because I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. We did get the goal, Graham. Lovely bit of play for Kamara on the left. I think it was Kamara. Cross into the box, I think, and again, I think it was Aribo that headed it. Roofe, Graham, was he offside?
No.
Thank God for Rangers TV's replays because it didn't show you one time. If it was offside, I don't care. I'll take it.
I don't care at all.
Chris Sutton on BT Sport even said it was onside.
Did he?
There's a possible.
Yes.
I don't know who was on the back post, front post for them. Sorry, so you need to see that angle. Obviously,
According to him, the right back was playing them on.
Well, I mean, if Chris Sutton says it's onside, then it must be onside, Brian.
Exactly. Because his cheap comment was, "Oh, they didn't need VAR for this one."
And in the context of the season, Brian, I know it's an obvious point, but massive goal.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think if we didn't win today, I think I wouldn't like to have nailed my colours to the mast, but it would have been just as well as. Yeah, it would have been a long road back for us to get back in it if we didn't win today. Big win today, and hopefully now it's 2-1 nils in a row. I know it's not been great, but I just wish they would just let the handbrake off a wee bit and just go for it. I just wish that would happen, but it just doesn't seem like it's gonna.
I can understand why he wants to be a bit more
pragmatic.
For philosophical. I don't
pragmatic.
Know pragmatic. That's a much better word because there is only 9 games left, and slip-ups cost you. Now, you know, so I can understand that for a degree, just not to the degree I think that we're playing just now. But Graham, if Roofe doesn't get that goal, this is a far different match reaction.
It's definitely the thing that I just want Gio's like pragmatic style and stuff. The thing that annoys me more about that, see if I thought that's what he was like, I would accept it and you can kind of get used to it. But the idea that he went through 6 months to a year following Guardiola and stuff like that, and was getting paid by the City Group, and I don't see any evidence of anything of that style or try to implement that style of play, which is worrying for me. But if we never got that goal, then maybe I've made up an excuse not to come on, I think.
I think I would have just said my internet's completely not working. Brian, right to the end of the game, 89th minute, I think it was, 89th or 90th minute. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce the boy's name, so I apologise if this is wrong. Besigan, challenge on Arfield on the touchline. He got a yellow card for it, right? Maybe this is a stupid question. I don't know. That looked like a red to me.
Well, the ball was nowhere near him, right? The ball was gone.
He punches him first. He punches him in the head first, and then he comes through.
It's right in front. It's right in front of the fourth official. Right in front of the fourth official. So you couldn't have had a better view. And that was deemed as a yellow. Well, it looked, as soon as it happened, I thought, "Oof, that's a red." I honestly thought it was a red straight away.
I don't know, Graham, if it's because it was the 89th minute or the 90th minute or whatever. But I thought it was a red.
I did.
I must admit, I thought at first, I thought it was just one of the ones like the usual, try to block a pass down the side and he caught him, but it's more than that. So I'd probably say a yellow is right. I wouldn't go too far with that.
But there was a bit of needle coming in that game the last 10 minutes, wasn't there? Mm-hmm. You could see there was tackles flying in, and folk were getting edgy. I
want to see that for Rangers.
Exactly.
Players are too dicey, and probably going to get hanged for this, but see, like charging the ref as well. I don't mind that at all. No, every tackle, but see, just let them know we're watching you. We're watching this game, but you're letting this game flow. Because honestly, we're too nice sometimes, and it does my nothing.
But we've said that before. We're not streetwise enough. We've said that, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. We have. Well, very quickly, Brian. Fashion Sakala got a start today. You're shaking your head, right? I
He doesn't
thought
head him.
I thought the first half he was our biggest threat. I thought he was the one who looked the most energetic. I thought he was the one who was causing the most problems. All right, his end product needs to get better, but listen, so does Ryan Kent's.
Yeah.
I thought I don't want to say took his chance that he was given, but of all the players that were out on the pitch, he was the one that probably I would have gave slight pass marks to.
Certainly for his effort, his endeavour and his effort and his at least trying to attack the fullbacks was something that, was happening down that side. But as far as his end product, I actually thought he was auditioning for the Scottish rugby team, trying to get a shot over the bar, because every shot just went over the top. Just not once did he daisy cut one, or everything went sky high, rear of the Copeland, rear of the Broomloan. But I mean, at least he was the one shining light in the first half, where he was trying to take on people at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I just like him, Graham. But I genuinely did think that if anybody was going to make anything happen, until they obviously get took off, it would have been him.
Mr. Cat, you can't help but not like him, but it's just he's got the pace, and sometimes I'd like to see him just actually hit the ball by the player and run onto it more when he's played out wide. Sometimes he tries to do a step over and get by the player that way, and quite a lot the player just puts his foot in and wins the ball back. So I'd like to see him actually just put the ball past him, put the runners on, and try and get by him that way. But he was trying, he had a couple of headers, like you say, and then the shot, the left foot volley, or half volley, whatever it was, that was quite close, I suppose. But he tries, and he does always look a threat, no matter how the game's going. So you've got to give him that.
Can I just thank Rowan Anderson very much for the donation? Of course, if you do want to put your super chats in, as long as they're clean, I can bring them up on the screen and answer any questions that you may have to ask. Unfortunately, Rowan Anderson's isn't clean, so therefore I can't bring it up. But thank you so much for the donation, Brian. Right, okay, 9 games to go.
Say that on a Rangers podcast.
9 games to go. That's us level on points. Obviously, they play tomorrow, so depending on what happens tomorrow, we'll either be 3 points behind, joint top, or 1 point.
One behind.
One behind. My maths is terrible. After today and after what you've seen the last few weeks for Gio, how are you feeling?
It's much like it's on you go, Graham.
I've got faith that Livingston can do a job, because no matter it's one team in this league, you can actually guarantee they're going to put the effort in against every game. That's why they're on a run form that they're on. And Martindale, obviously, he's a breath of fresh air for this league. So hopefully I can see them maybe taking a couple of points off them at least. But we just need to wait and see. I was too busy reading some of the comments, so I missed the last part of the question, Mark. Sorry.
Sorry, I'll take it back to Brian. Brian, you heard the question. What's your answer? How are you feeling?
I've never really got much faith in any other team helping us out and doing us a favour. So I just think as long as we concentrate, win our remaining games, if we can, obviously if we can do that, we'll win the league. But I hate having to rely on other teams. I really do. I'd rather just, as long as it's in our hands, we've always got the chance.
Yeah. Righty-ho, I normally ask for a man of the match and stuff like that, but I don't feel that we really need to go down that road today. Do you know, it would be good. I know they need to for sponsors and stuff like that, right? But if there was an option to have no man of the match, I think we would pick that option today. Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for coming on, Brian Graham. Thank you to everybody for watching. Please do like and subscribe. A like goes a long, long, long way to helping out the podcast. What was that, Brian?
By the way, happy birthday, Rangers.
Of course. I did say I was going to mention it, and because people started shouting at me, I forgot to. So yes, 150 years old today. Happy anniversary to Rangers Football Club. Brian, just very, very, very quickly, right? We'll keep going, even though my internet's about to cut out. I genuinely don't know what I would do without Rangers. I don't know what I would do.
Well, the mood's been set for the weekend because we've won now, so it's fine. I think if that was a 0-0, I think the mood would have been slightly different. Yes,
I know,
And most normal folk just don't get that. They really don't. It sets
Do you
your
know,
mood for the weekend.
do you know something? My missus says to me, "Why do you bother with football?" I says, "What do you mean?" She says, "If Rangers win, you're happy, right? But you're miserable during the game, and if they get beat, you're miserable all weekend. Why do you even bother?" I says, "Oh, you just don't understand." I
No.
say, "Graham, you just don't understand," and she just doesn't get it. But for our club to be 150 years old today, be one of the most successful clubs in the world, it's the greatest club in the world. That's as much as I can put in our comment.
Totally agree, mate. It's some achievement, and then to just have you just look through the honours list, and then the players that have played here, the managers, the nights that they've given us at Ibrox. You work all week to see your club with your mates, and if you don't understand it, then you never will. But it's the bestest feeling in the world.
And I think there's a big credit to go to the Union Bears for doing that. The
Tifo.
tifo and stuff today. That was
I
brilliant.
liked it.
Really good.
Curry Lunchers put that's divorce grounds, Martin. She's so much better looking than me, and she makes more money. So unfortunately, there'll be no divorce happening. Well, everybody, Ricky Fobbs there. Happy birthday to us.
Yeah.
Get rid of her, Martin. Life would be easier. Sometimes she watches these back CGM, so I'm not going to respond to that comment. But so listen, Brian, Graham, thank you to every single person in the comments. Thank you to every person watching. I'm actually starting to feel a lot happier now that we've won. I'm starting to get a buzz about me. But yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday with a midweek pod. Until then, stay safe, and we shall speak to you all very, very soon.